Have you ever wondered why your heart starts racing the moment you think about speaking in front of people? Why your palms get sweaty, your voice shakes, and suddenly even simple sentences feel hard to say? You're not alone. Every single person, even the most confident speakers you admire today, has felt this fear at some point. And the surprising truth is that this fear doesn't mean you're weak or unprepared. It simply means you care. You care about how you appear, how your words land, and whether people will accept your message. This fear is natural, but it's not meant to control you. In fact, it can become your greatest source of power once you understand it. Imagine standing on a stage and feeling nothing but calm, clarity and energy instead of anxiety. Imagine speaking freely without worrying about mistakes or judgment. This is not some rare talent only a few people are born with. This is a skill, something any ordinary person can learn with the right mindset. The first step is understanding the fear itself. Fear of public speaking comes from an ancient survival instinct. When you stand in front of a group, your brain behaves as if you're facing danger, triggering fight or flight mode. That's why your heart speeds up, your breath shortens, and your mind goes blank. But here's the interesting part. The danger isn't real. Your brain misreads attention as a threat, even though the audience is simply waiting to hear you. The art of public speaking teaches that the key to overcoming fear isn't to eliminate it, but to shift your relationship with it. Nervousness is just energy, raw energy that you can channel into power. Instead of resisting it, you learn to ride it. Think about actors, performers, or athletes. Do they feel fear before a big moment? Absolutely. But they use that tension as fuel. Your fear is actually your body preparing you to perform at your best. Another major reason for fear is over-focusing on yourself. Most people step on stage thinking, what if I mess up? What if they judge me? What if I forget something? But the moment you stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about your audience, what they need, what they came to hear, how your message can help them, the fear immediately begins to fade. Fear grows when you shine the spotlight inward. Confidence grows when you turn the spotlight outward. The next part of understanding fear is recognizing that perfection is not required. Nobody expects a flawless speaker. The audience cares more about connection than perfection. They want authenticity, not robotic smoothness. Every speaker stumbles, pauses, searches for words. These moments don't ruin a speech. They make it human. When you accept that mistakes are normal, fear loses half its power. And finally, the greatest insight. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking despite fear. Every time you face it, every time you push through that initial discomfort, you shrink the fear a little more. With practice, what once felt terrifying becomes natural. The first step to becoming a powerful speaker is not eliminating fear. It's understanding it deeply, accepting it, and walking through it with intention. Confidence in public speaking doesn't magically appear on the day of the speech. It is built long before you step on stage, and preparation is the foundation of that confidence. Think of preparation as the silent power that supports you when everything else begins to shake. When you know your material deeply, when you've shaped your ideas clearly, and when you've rehearsed with intention, your mind naturally relaxes. The fear doesn't vanish, but it shrinks because your brain knows you are ready. Most people assume preparation means memorizing words, but that's actually the weakest form of preparation. True preparation is understanding your message so well that even if you forget a line, you can still speak freely. The first element of strong preparation is clarity. You should know exactly what your core message is. If someone asked you to summarize your entire speech in one line, could you do it? If not, the message isn't ready. A clear message gives direction to your speech. It becomes the thread that connects all your ideas. When you're clear inside, your delivery becomes clear outside. Confused preparation leads to confused speaking, and confusion is the fastest path to anxiety. But when you organize your thoughts, list your main points, and know what flows into what, your speech begins to take shape like a strong structure. Next comes research. Even if your speech is based on personal experience, adding facts, examples, or stories makes it more believable and impactful. When you know your topic deeply, you gain a natural confidence. You don't feel like an imposter. You don't worry about being questioned. You speak like someone who has done the work and the audience senses it. Research doesn't mean stuffing your script with complicated information. It means understanding the subject so thoroughly that you can explain it simply. Another important part of preparation is practicing out loud. Many people rehearse in their minds, but the real test is how the words come out when spoken. When you practice aloud, you hear your tone, your speed, your phrasing. You notice where you stumble and where you feel strong. You learn which sentences feel natural and which ones need rewriting. This practice also reduces stage fright because your brain gets used to hearing your own voice express these ideas. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds confidence. Visualization is another powerful tool. Close your eyes and imagine stepping on stage. Picture the audience. Imagine yourself speaking smoothly. Feel the confidence in your body. This mental rehearsal trains your mind to see the experience positively instead of fearfully. Athletes use visualization before big matches. Speakers can use it before big speeches. And finally, preparation includes creating a flexible mindset. Even with the best planning, something may go differently than expected. A word may slip, a slide may freeze, or someone may interrupt. Instead of panicking, a well-prepared speaker adapts. This adaptability comes from understanding your message, not memorizing sentences. When you prepare deeply instead of rigidly, you gain a quiet confidence that stays with you, no matter what happens on stage. Preparation is not just a task, it is the birthplace of confidence. When you prepare with intention, your fear weakens, your clarity strengthens, and you walk on stage knowing you are ready to deliver your message with power. A powerful speech doesn't start with fancy vocabulary or complicated ideas. It begins with a clear, strong message, a core idea that your entire talk revolves around. If the message isn't sharp, your audience won't remember anything. But if your message is focused and meaningful, every sentence you speak carries impact. Think of your speech like a thread. The message is the needle that guides it. Without that needle, the thread goes everywhere. With it, everything has direction. So before writing anything, ask yourself, what is the one idea I want people to walk away with? Once your core message is clear, the next step is shaping a structure that delivers it effectively. Great speeches have three essential parts: an opening that grabs attention, a body that develops the message, and a closing that sticks in people's minds. Your opening should create curiosity, spark emotion, or raise a powerful question. People decide in the first few seconds whether they want to listen. A strong opening tells them, this is worth your time. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be real and engaging. The body of your speech is where your message expands. This is where you break down your main idea into smaller, digestible parts. You might use stories, examples, facts, questions, or personal experiences to support your message. The key is to keep everything connected to your main idea. Many speakers lose their audience because they drift away from the core message. But when every point supports the same central theme, your speech becomes memorable and easy to follow. Storytelling plays a big role here. Humans remember stories more than bullet points. If you want your message to stay in people's minds, wrap it in experiences and emotions. A good story doesn't have to be long. It just needs a relatable moment, a clear conflict, and a meaningful takeaway. Stories are powerful because they bypass logic and connect directly with emotion, and emotion is what drives action. Next comes clarity. Your language should be simple enough that your message can be understood instantly. Complicated sentences may sound impressive, but they don't connect. Your goal isn't to sound smart, it's to be understood. A clear message delivered simply has far more power than a complicated message delivered beautifully. The audience should never have to guess what you're trying to say. Another important part of crafting a message is deciding what not to include. Not every good idea belongs in your speech. Too many ideas dilute impact. Think of your message like light. When it's scattered, it's weak. When it's concentrated, it's powerful enough to cut through anything. Focus on depth, not breadth. Finally, a strong message needs a strong ending. Your closing should reinforce your core idea with emotional weight. End with a call to action, a powerful line, or a reflective question, something that stays with the audience long after the speech is over. A great ending turns your message into something unforgettable. Crafting a powerful message isn't about perfection. It's about clarity, simplicity, and emotional connection. When your message is strong, your speech becomes a force that people carry with them. Delivery is the heartbeat of public speaking. Even the most brilliant message can fall flat if delivered without energy, clarity, or presence. Many speakers believe delivery is about speaking louder or being more dramatic, but real delivery is about expressing your ideas in a way that feels natural and powerful. It begins with your voice, your most important tool. Voice is not just sound, it is emotion, emphasis, rhythm, and personality wrapped in one. A great speaker uses their voice the way a musician uses their instrument, with intention. The first part of delivery is vocal variety. Audiences drift off when a speaker talks in a flat, monotone voice. Variation in pitch, pace, and volume keeps people engaged. For example, slowing down can make an important point feel heavier, while speeding up slightly during a story adds excitement. Softening your voice creates intimacy. Raising it adds emphasis. Think of your voice like waves, constantly moving, rising, and falling. Pauses are another powerful tool. A pause can highlight a key idea, give listeners time to absorb information, or create suspense before a big point. Many speakers fear pausing because they think it makes them look nervous, but the opposite is true. Confident speakers use pauses deliberately. A well-placed pause commands attention more than any loud sentence ever could. Articulation also matters. Clear pronunciation ensures the audience understands every word. You don't need to exaggerate your speech. Just slow down slightly and allow your words to land. When you speak too fast, your message loses strength. When you speak too slowly, it loses energy. A balanced pace keeps the audience comfortable and focused. Beyond voice, delivery includes emotion. People don't just listen to what you say, they feel how you say it. If your tone doesn't match your message, the audience senses disconnect. Speak with genuine emotion, excitement when sharing an inspiring moment, seriousness when discussing something meaningful, warmth when connecting personally. Authentic emotion builds trust. Another key part of delivery is facial expression. Your face communicates even before your words do. A slight smile can create warmth. Raised eyebrows show curiosity. A firm expression highlights seriousness. When your facial expressions align with your message, your speech becomes more believable. Breathing plays a huge role too. Nervous speakers breathe shallowly, which makes their voice shaky. Deep breathing strengthens your voice and calms your nerves. Before speaking, take slow breaths to center yourself. During the speech, breathe naturally, allowing your thoughts to flow smoothly. Lastly, delivery requires presence. Presence is the invisible force that makes a speaker magnetic. It comes from being fully in the moment, not thinking about mistakes, not worrying about judgment, not rushing through sentences. When you are present, your audience feels your confidence. Mastering delivery doesn't mean acting or pretending. It means expressing your message in a way that feels alive, clear, and authentic. When your voice, emotion, and presence align, your message becomes unforgettable. Body language is the silent partner of public speaking. Even when you're not speaking, your body continues the conversation. Audiences often decide whether to trust a speaker within seconds, and the decision is made mostly through non-verbal cues. This means your gestures, posture, eye contact, and movement on stage play a crucial role in shaping your impact. The art of public speaking emphasizes that the body should support the message, not distract from it. Let's start with posture. The way you stand communicates confidence or insecurity instantly. A strong posture doesn't mean being stiff or rigid. It means standing naturally, with your shoulders relaxed, your spine straight, and your feet grounded. This not only makes you appear confident, but also helps your breathing and vocal projection. A slouched or closed posture signals self-doubt, while an open posture communicates readiness and clarity. Next is eye contact. Eyes connect you to your audience more than any other gesture. Good eye contact shows honesty, confidence, and engagement. But eye contact doesn't mean staring at a single person or scanning the crowd robotically. Instead, connect with different sections of the audience naturally. Imagine having short, meaningful conversations with individuals across the room. This makes people feel acknowledged and reduces the emotional distance between you and them. Hand gestures are another important tool. When used well, they emphasize your words and add energy to your message. When used poorly, they distract the audience. The key is to keep gestures natural. Don't force them. Let them rise organically from your thoughts. Use open-handed gestures when making an inclusive point, controlled movements when emphasizing clarity, and expressive gestures during stories. Avoid fidgeting, crossing your arms, or stuffing your hands in your pockets. These signals show nervousness or lack of confidence. Facial expressions matter too. Your face should reflect the emotion behind your words. A speech about hope should carry warmth. A speech about urgency should carry seriousness. A blank expression confuses listeners, while genuine expression helps them feel your message. Your face is an emotional bridge connecting you to the audience. Movement on stage is also powerful. Many speakers either freeze in place or wander aimlessly. The goal is purposeful movement. Move when transitioning between major points or when shifting the emotional tone. Stand still during strong statements to add weight. Each movement should have intention. Purposeful movement makes you appear in control while keeping the audience visually engaged. Another underrated aspect is removing nervous habits, tapping, pacing, adjusting clothes, or playing with your hands. These habits drain attention from your message. Becoming aware of them is the first step. Replacing them with grounded posture and calm gestures is the next. Finally, confidence in body language comes from one simple thing: relaxation. When your body is relaxed, your gestures flow, your voice opens, and your presence expands. Tension blocks expression, relaxation frees it. In the end, body language is not about acting. It's about aligning your physical presence with your inner message. When your body speaks confidently, your words gain power, and your audience connects more deeply. Audience engagement is the heartbeat of effective public speaking. No matter how powerful your message is, it won't land if the audience is emotionally disconnected. Engagement doesn't mean performing tricks or being overly dramatic. It means creating a genuine connection, a sense that you and your audience are sharing the same journey. When people feel involved, they listen. When they listen, they understand. And when they understand, they remember. The first step to engagement is relatability. People pay attention when they hear something that reflects their own life. Mention everyday struggles, relatable thoughts, or universal emotions. Whether your topic is technical or motivational, connection always begins with shared human experience. When the audience feels, "This is about me," they automatically lean in. Another powerful tool is storytelling. Stories are emotional bridges. They make your ideas come alive. A good story can turn a simple message into something unforgettable. Add characters, conflict, and resolution. Make the audience see, hear, and feel the moments. The more vivid the story, the stronger the engagement. Questions also help immensely. Asking a question, even if the audience doesn't respond aloud, activates their mind. It makes them think, and thinking creates involvement. Questions like, "Have you ever felt this way?" or "What would you do in this situation?" pull the audience into your narrative. Humor is another valuable way to engage people. You don't need to be a comedian. A light, natural, relatable joke instantly warms the room. Humor reduces barriers. When people laugh, they relax. And relaxed listeners absorb more. Just keep humor positive and relevant. Forced jokes break connection instead of building it. Emotion is central to engagement. People forget facts but remember feelings. If your speech makes someone feel inspired, understood, or energized, they carry your message long after the talk ends. Speak with warmth and sincerity. Share something personal. A mistake you made. A lesson you learned. A moment that changed you. Vulnerability builds trust. Another crucial part of engagement is voice modulation. When your tone matches your emotion, the audience feels it. Excitement needs energy. Seriousness needs gravity. Reflection needs softness. Modulation makes your speech dynamic, turning listening into an experience instead of a task. Movement on stage also plays a role. By shifting positions during transitions, you subtly refresh the audience's attention. Approaching different sections of the audience builds connection and inclusiveness. But remember, the movement must match the meaning. Participation can also elevate engagement. This could be as simple as asking them to imagine something or prompting them to reflect on a moment. When people participate, even mentally, the speech becomes interactive instead of one-sided. Lastly, engagement comes from authenticity. People connect with realness. Speak from your heart, not from a script. Let your personality flow. When you are genuine, people listen. When you fake confidence or emotion, they feel that too. Engagement is not a technique, it is a relationship. When you treat your audience as partners instead of observers, they respond with attention, emotion, and connection. Stories, examples, and illustrations are the soul of memorable speaking. While facts inform the mind, stories transform it. Humans are wired to understand the world through narratives. Since ancient times, stories have carried knowledge, values, warnings, and wisdom. When you embed your message in a story, you give it life, something the audience can visualize, feel, and remember long after your speech ends. Let's begin with storytelling. A great story doesn't need to be dramatic or extraordinary. It just needs three things: a relatable situation, a conflict, and a transformation. For example, even a simple moment, missing a bus, failing a test, or facing a difficult decision, can become powerful when told with honesty and detail. The audience enjoys stories that reflect real human struggles and emotions. Add sensory details, what you saw, heard, felt. These details create a mental movie in the listener's mind. The conflict is crucial. Without a challenge, a story feels flat. Conflict creates curiosity. What will happen next? How will the speaker overcome this? When the conflict resolves, the lesson emerges naturally. This transformation becomes the heart of your message. Examples are equally important. They simplify complex ideas and make them understandable. If you're explaining a concept, give a real-world example. People grasp information quickly when they see it applied. For instance, instead of saying consistency is important, show how a small daily habit transformed someone's career or confidence. Examples turn abstract concepts into practical insights. Illustrations, such as metaphors and analogies, help the audience visualize your message. They take something familiar and connect it to something new. For example, describing public speaking as turning on a light in a dark room instantly conveys the idea of clarity and impact. Illustrations also add beauty and creativity to your speech. Personal stories are especially powerful because they create vulnerability and trust. When you share a moment from your own life, your fears, failures, lessons, your audience sees you as human, not just a speaker. This builds emotional connection. But remember, personal stories should serve the message, not your ego. Share moments that help your audience learn, not just moments that make you look good. Timing and placement of stories also matter. Use a story to introduce a point, expand a point, or close with impact. The right story at the right moment can shift the entire energy of your speech. Stories also help reset the audience's attention during longer talks. The strongest speeches blend all three elements: stories, examples, and illustrations. The combination keeps your speech dynamic, engaging, and meaningful. Facts tell, stories sell, examples teach, illustrations connect. However, avoid using stories that are too long or complicated. The goal is clarity, not confusion. Keep stories focused on the lesson. Every story should lead somewhere. When you master storytelling, examples, and illustrations, your audience will not just hear your message, they will experience it. And that experience stays with them far longer than words alone ever could. Long speeches require more skillful structure than short ones. When you speak for a longer duration, the biggest challenge is not delivering information, it's maintaining the audience's attention from beginning to end. People naturally lose focus if the speech lacks flow, variety, or emotional rhythm. That's why structuring a long speech is both an art and a science. It ensures that your message unfolds smoothly and keeps the audience engaged at every stage. The first element of a long speech structure is segmentation. Instead of presenting one long block of content, break the speech into clear sections. Each section should explore one main idea or theme. This helps your audience follow the progression without feeling overwhelmed. Segmentation also gives the speaker mental checkpoints, making it easier to remember transitions. Transitions themselves are incredibly important. They are the bridges between sections. A good transition summarizes what was just discussed and gently leads into what comes next. Transitions can be created using questions, brief stories, or simple connecting lines like, "Now that we understand this, let's explore what happens next." Smooth transitions prevent your speech from feeling disjointed. Next is pacing. A long speech requires rhythm, moments of energy, moments of calm, moments of humor, and moments of depth. If every minute feels the same, the audience eventually disengages. Pace your delivery like waves. Rise with excitement during stories or emotional moments, slow down during reflective points, and steady the pace during explanations. Variety keeps the audience's mind active. Another important technique is the use of anchors, key points or repeated phrases that appear throughout the speech. Anchors give the audience something to hold on to. They reinforce your central theme and make your message memorable. A well-designed anchor can become the line your audience remembers years later. Visual or descriptive imagery is also helpful in long speeches. Describing scenes, scenarios, or metaphors creates mental pictures that refresh attention. Imagery turns your words into experiences. Consider adding small stories or micro-moments throughout the speech to keep the audience emotionally connected. Engagement points should be strategically placed. Every few minutes there should be something that re-engages the audience. A question, a relatable moment, a surprising fact, or a humorous line. These engagement points reset attention and prevent mental fatigue. Repetition is another key. Not repeating the entire information, but reinforcing essential ideas in different ways. Repetition builds memory. When you highlight your core message at multiple points, the audience carries it home more easily. Your ending for a long speech needs special care. The final section should feel like all the threads coming together. Summarize the journey, emotionally reinforce the message, and close with a powerful takeaway. Long speeches that end weakly lose the impact of everything that came before. A well-structured long speech feels like a guided journey, smooth, engaging, and meaningful. When your structure is strong, your message flows naturally, and your audience stays with you from start to finish. The moment you step on stage, anything can happen, and this is exactly where most speakers struggle. Not because they lack knowledge, but because they panic when unexpected situations arise. The real mastery of public speaking isn't just about delivering a perfect speech. It's about staying calm when things don't go according to plan. Imagine you're speaking confidently, and suddenly you forget the next line. Your heart races, you freeze for a second, and the pressure of the audience feels 10 times heavier. But here's the truth, even the greatest speakers forget lines. The difference is, they don't let the moment control them. They control the moment. One of the best ways is to pause naturally instead of panicking. A pause doesn't look like a mistake. It looks intentional, like you're giving your audience time to think. Another challenge many speakers face is dealing with tough or uninterested audiences. Some people won't react, won't smile, won't nod. They might even continue looking at their phones. The key is not taking it personally. You can't expect every person in a room to be fully engaged, but you can choose to focus on the ones who are. Pick 2 or 3 responsive faces and speak as if the entire room is absorbing the same energy. Your confidence grows wherever your attention goes. Sometimes you'll get interruptions, someone asking a random question, someone disagreeing loudly. In these moments, don't let your emotions rise. Stay calm, acknowledge their point politely, and use it as a bridge. That's an interesting thought, and here's how it connects to what we're discussing. This not only maintains control, but also shows emotional intelligence. Technical problems are another speaker's nightmare. The mic stops working, slides freeze, lighting goes off. Many speakers lose confidence instantly because they rely too heavily on tools. The secret is to treat tech as support, not as a lifeline. If the mic fails, raise your voice. If slides vanish, continue speaking. If lights dim, smile and say, "Looks like we're adding some suspense here." Audiences love speakers who keep the moment light instead of panicking. It shows true professionalism. And then there's the internal challenge, your own mind. Negative thoughts attack during speeches. What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? Recognize that these thoughts don't reflect reality. They reflect fear. When your brain throws fear-based thoughts at you, let them pass like clouds. Don't fight them. The more you resist them, the stronger they grow. Instead, remind yourself, I am here to share, not to impress. I am here to help, not to perform. This shift instantly reduces pressure. Sometimes you'll face moments that throw you off. Someone yawns loudly, a phone rings, a child laughs, or someone walks out. These things are not signs that you're failing. They are simply human moments. Your job is to stay centered. Take a breath, smile, and continue. The audience does not judge you by what happens. They judge you by how you respond. Handling difficult situations in public speaking is not about preventing problems, but mastering your reactions. When you remain composed, confident, and flexible, you transform chaos into connection, and that's what makes a real speaker unforgettable. Every public speaker dreams of delivering the perfect speech, but the ultimate goal isn't perfection, it's growth. Speaking is a journey, not a destination. Even the most experienced speakers continue to learn, refine, and evolve with every talk. This final aspect is about embracing that mindset, how to practice, improve, and commit to becoming a lifelong speaker. Improvement comes from consistent effort, reflection, and the willingness to step outside your comfort zone. The first step is effective practice. It's not enough to read your speech silently or glance through notes. You need to rehearse aloud, ideally in a setting that mimics the real stage. This practice allows you to hear your own voice, notice pacing, intonation, and areas where clarity may be lacking. The more you practice aloud, the more comfortable your words feel in your mouth, which reduces anxiety and builds confidence. Repeat your speech multiple times, but allow flexibility. Don't try to memorize every word. True fluency comes from understanding your message deeply, not memorizing sentences. Recording yourself is another powerful technique. Watching or listening to your own performance may feel awkward at first, but it is invaluable. You can identify nervous habits, unclear sections, or uneven pacing that you wouldn't notice otherwise. Self-review allows you to fine-tune both content and delivery. Additionally, it helps you track progress over time. Seeing improvement, even small changes, fuels motivation and reinforces your practice routine. Feedback is essential for growth. Share your speech with trusted friends, mentors, or peer groups who can provide constructive criticism. Sometimes we are blind to our own habits or strengths. A fresh perspective helps you understand how your message is perceived, how your delivery comes across, and what areas need adjustment. Be open to suggestions and avoid taking critiques personally. Each piece of feedback is a stepping stone toward mastery. Joining speaking groups or workshops accelerates growth significantly. Organizations like Toastmasters provide a safe environment to practice, receive feedback, and observe other speakers. Being part of a community also provides accountability. You're more likely to practice consistently when others are learning alongside you. Listening to other speakers exposes you to different styles, techniques, and approaches that you can adapt to your own voice. Equally important is cultivating a speaker's mindset. Confidence isn't just about preparation, it's about believing in your ability to learn and grow. Mistakes aren't failures, they are lessons. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a guidepost showing where growth is possible. Each speech, no matter the outcome, adds experience, resilience, and insight. With this mindset, public speaking becomes a process of self-discovery and empowerment. Lastly, continuous improvement is about consistency. Schedule regular practice. Seek opportunities to speak and never settle for comfort. Small steps compound over time. A few minutes of deliberate practice each day builds a lifetime of skill. Reflect after each speech, celebrate progress, and set new goals. Public speaking becomes not just a skill but a lifelong journey that enhances confidence, communication, and personal influence. When you embrace practice, feedback, community, and mindset, you become not just a speaker, but a communicator who can inspire, inform, and leave a lasting impact. Growth never ends, and the more you speak, the more effortless it becomes. If you found value in this video, then like, share, and subscribe my channel Audiobook Library